Hello everyone and welcome back to Module 2 of your course, Certified Supply Chain Optimization Professional. This is the fifth lesson on supply chain optimization and its critical role in improving overall supply chain performance. Lesson 5 is identifying bottlenecks and inefficiencies. The agenda for this lesson would be introduction to bottlenecks and inefficiencies, identifying bottlenecks, identifying inefficiencies, and strategies for addressing bottlenecks and inefficiencies. This knowledge is crucial for improving the performance of our supply chains and achieving business objectives. There are quite a number of learning outcomes for this course. You can have a review of them, but at the end of the lesson, you should be able to define what bottlenecks and inefficiencies are in the context of supply chain management. You should also be able to use various methods and techniques to identify bottlenecks in a supply chain, such as process mapping, data analysis, and simulation modeling. Identify inefficiencies in a supply chain by reviewing all processes and activities to identify those that are non-value added. And you should understand the common strategies used to address bottlenecks and inefficiencies in a supply chain, such as process redesign, capacity expansion, inventory management, and lean practices. Now, bottlenecks in the supply chain refer to specific points or areas where the flow of goods or information experiences a slowdown or comes to a complete stop. These bottlenecks can occur due to various reasons, such as capacity limitations, inefficient processes, inadequate resources, or coordination issues among supply chain partners. As a result, bottlenecks can have negative implications for the overall supply chain performance. When a bottleneck occurs, it disrupts the smooth flow of materials or information, leading to delays in delivery, increased lead times, and potential stockouts. For example, a manufacturing facility with limited production capacity may become a bottleneck if it cannot keep up with the demand from downstream customers, causing delays in product availability and shipment. The impact of bottlenecks can extend beyond internal operations. For instance, if a transportation bottleneck occurs due to congestion at a port, it can result in delays in receiving raw materials or shipping finished goods. These delays can lead to increased transportation costs, missed delivery deadlines, and dissatisfied customers. On the other hand, inefficiencies in the supply chain refer to waste or non-value added processes that do not contribute to the final product or service. These inefficiencies can arise from redundant activities, unnecessary handoffs, excessive inventory, poor communication, or ineffective resource allocation. They consume valuable resources, time, and effort without adding any value to the end customer. There is an acronym that is used to describe these wastes, otherwise called as TIM-WOOD. It's transport, inventory, motion, waiting, overproduction, process, and defects. Now, inefficiencies can lead to increased costs, reduced productivity, and lower profitability. For example, excessive inventory levels due to inefficient demand forecasting can tie up capital, increase storage costs, and lead to obsolete or expired products. Inefficient communication or coordination between different departments or supply chain partners can result in errors, rework, and delays. To optimize supply chain performance, it is important to identify and address bottlenecks and inefficiencies. This can be done through continuous improvement initiatives, process optimization, technology adoption, and collaboration with supply chain partners. By eliminating or mitigating bottlenecks and inefficiencies, companies can enhance operational efficiency, reduce costs, improve customer satisfaction, and gain a competitive edge in the market. Now, we need to understand the operations of bottlenecks. Bottlenecks in a supply chain occur when a specific component or process within the chain is unable to handle the demand placed upon it. This situation arises when the capacity of that component is insufficient to meet the required workload. Bottlenecks can be caused by various factors, including capacity limitations, equipment breakdowns, inadequate staffing, and poor planning or coordination. Capacity limitations occur when a component, such as a production line or a transportation route, cannot handle the volume or pace of work required. In the example, you can see where the bottleneck occurs at operation 2. Operation 1 is working at 20 per hour. Operation 3 is 15 per hour. However, operation 2 can only operate at 10 per hour. The maximum output rate is therefore limited to 10 output per hour due to the bottleneck. Equipment breakdowns can also disrupt the flow of operations, causing delays and interruptions. Inadequate staffing, whether due to a shortage of personnel or a lack of skilled workers, can contribute to bottlenecks as well. Insufficient planning and coordination between different stages or entities within the supply chain can lead to imbalances and disruptions. When bottlenecks occur, they result in delays and backlogs in the supply chain. Delays impact customer satisfaction and can result in missed delivery deadlines. Accumulation of unfinished work or inventory due to bottlenecks leads to backlogs, excess inventory, and increased storage costs. Additional resources, expedited shipping, and overtime labor may then be required to mitigate bottlenecks, leading to increased costs for the supply chain. Ultimately, bottlenecks can damage the reputation of a company, as dissatisfied customers experience late deliveries or unmet expectations. To address bottlenecks, it is important to identify their root causes and implement appropriate measures. This can involve improving capacity through investments in infrastructure or technology, enhancing maintenance practices to prevent equipment breakdowns, optimizing staffing levels to match demand, and also implementing better planning and coordination strategies. By addressing bottlenecks, supply chains can reduce delays, minimize costs, improve customer satisfaction, and maintain a competitive advantage in the market. Bottlenecks in the supply chain occur when the capacity of a specific component is insufficient to meet demand. We'll now look at identifying inefficiencies in a supply chain. To identify inefficiencies in a supply chain, a systematic evaluation of all processes and activities is required. Now, there are several techniques can be employed for this purpose. The first is value stream mapping. Now, this technique involves visually mapping the entire supply chain to identify areas where value is added and areas that are non-value added. It helps to identify waste, redundancies, and opportunities for improvement. We can also identify inefficiencies by using lean principles. Now, lean methodology focuses on eliminating waste and non-value added activities from the supply chain. It involves analyzing each step in the process. In that way, you can identify the sources of waste and implement strategies that would streamline your operations and make it more efficient and effective. A third method to do a systematic evaluation is to conduct data analysis. Now, utilizing data and metrics can provide insights into inefficiencies within the supply chain. Analyzing key performance indicators such as cycle time, inventory turnover, or order fulfillment rate can highlight areas of improvement and help prioritize efforts. By employing these techniques, organizations can identify inefficiencies such as unnecessary steps, excessive inventory, or redundant tasks. Once identified, appropriate strategies can be implemented to eliminate or mitigate these inefficiencies. Streamlining operations and reducing non-value added activities lead to increased productivity, cost savings, and improved overall supply chain performance. By addressing inefficiencies, organizations can enhance their competitiveness, customer satisfaction, and profitability in a dynamic business environment. Now, supply chain optimization is a continuous process that involves identifying bottlenecks and inefficiencies and implementing strategies to assist them. We would now look at 4 such strategies that will allow you to do such thing. The first is process redesign. Now, this involves re-engineering the supply chain processes to eliminate bottlenecks and inefficiencies. For example, if a particular step in the supply chain consistently causes delays, the process might be redesigned to remove or simplify that step. This could involve changing the sequence of operations, introducing new technologies, or changing the way the tasks are allocated. The overall goal is to streamline the process, reduce delays, and increase throughput. Capacity expansion is a strategic decision that involves increasing the production capacity of a company to meet rising demand. This strategy is particularly useful when a company frequently encounters bottlenecks which limits its ability to meet customer demand. Here's an expansion on the methods. Now, they can invest in additional equipment. This involves purchasing or leasing more machinery or equipment to increase production capacity. For instance, a manufacturing company might buy more machines to increase its production rate. Now, while this requires a significant upfront investment, it can lead to long-term gains in productivity and efficiency. They can also hire more staff. Increasing the workforce is another way to expand capacity. More employees can handle more tasks, reducing the time it takes to complete work and increasing the overall output. However, this strategy also involves additional costs, including recruitment, training, and salaries. Now, the organization can also increase working hours. Extending working hours or shifting to a 24/7 operation can also increase capacity. This strategy can be particularly effective in industries where equipment is expensive or difficult to install. However, it's important to consider the potential impact on employee morale and productivity, as well as any overtime costs. So while capacity expansion can improve efficiency in customer service, it's important to consider the financial implications, potential risks, and long-term sustainability. It's also crucial to ensure that the increased capacity aligns with demand forecasts to avoid overproduction and excess inventory. Inventory management is a critical aspect of supply chain optimization. It involves managing the balance between too much and too little inventory. By using demand forecasting, this is the process of predicting future sales to determine how much inventory is needed. It uses historical sales data, market trends, and statistical models to predict future demand. Accurate demand forecasting can help prevent overstocking and understocking, ensuring that the right amount of inventory is available to meet customer demand. Proper safety stock management is also crucial. Safety stock is additional inventory kept on hand to protect against variability in demand or supply. It serves as a buffer against unexpected spikes in demand or delays in replenishment. Managing safety stock effectively can help prevent stockouts while minimizing the amount of capital tied up in inventory. Just-in-time inventory management is also another strategy which aims to minimize inventory levels by ordering just enough inventory to meet customer demand and timing its delivery to coincide with when it's needed. This reduces the costs associated with holding inventory, including storage costs, obsolescence, and spoilage. However, it requires accurate demand forecasting and reliable suppliers to avoid stockouts. By implementing these strategies, companies can optimize their inventory levels, reducing costs and improving customer service. However, effective inventory management requires a deep understanding of demand patterns, supply chain capabilities, and risk factors. It also requires the use of advanced tools and technologies for demand forecasting, inventory tracking, and data analysis. Lean practices are a set of methodologies that aim to improve efficiency and reduce waste in a production process. They originated from the Toyota production system and have since been adopted by many industries worldwide. Now, the primary goal of lean practices is to eliminate waste, defined as any activity that does not add value to the product from the customer's perspective. This includes overproduction, waiting time, unnecessary transportation, overprocessing, excess inventory, unnecessary motion, and defects, otherwise known as the acronym TIMWOOD. By identifying and eliminating these wastes, companies can reduce costs and improve efficiency. Value stream mapping is a tool used in lean practices to visualize the entire production process from raw materials to finished goods. It helps to identify where value is added in the process and where waste occurs. Continuous improvement involves constantly analyzing processes, identifying areas for improvement, and implementing changes. And quality improvement reduces defects and errors. Companies can improve product quality, reduce rework and returns, and increase customer satisfaction. Implementing lean practices requires a commitment from all levels of the organization. It involves changing mindsets, training staff, and sometimes re-engineering processes. However, the benefits of lean can be significant, including cost savings, improved efficiency, higher product quality, and overall improved customer satisfaction. In conclusion, identifying and addressing bottlenecks and inefficiencies is a critical aspect of supply chain optimization. By enhancing our visibility of the supply chain, identifying potential issues, and implementing effective strategies, we can improve the performance of our supply chain and achieve our business objectives. This brings you to the end of Lesson 5, Identifying Bottlenecks and Inefficiencies. We have covered Introduction to Bottlenecks and Inefficiencies, Identifying Bottlenecks, Identifying Inefficiencies, and discussing strategies for addressing bottlenecks and inefficiencies. The key learning points covered would be Introduction to Bottlenecks and Inefficiencies, Identifying Bottlenecks, Identifying Inefficiencies, and strategies for addressing bottlenecks and inefficiency. If there are any questions, please feel free to email me at kelroydbjames.com@gmail.com. I'm looking forward to hear your comments and looking forward to seeing you in the next course.